What's up again, guys? Brian here at 3TR, and you know who my special guest is. He is now 24, I'm now 25, so booyah. Can you believe it's actually been exactly 100 episodes since he was here on our last episode of People's Questions, so I think that's actually pretty phenomenal. We got a good set of questions from a lot of you out there, and some of you guys did keep them game-oriented, so I thank you for that. So jumping right into the first two questions coming from Techno Bacon, and you want to know, what's one canceled game that if you could, would like to bring back to life? Yours is actually the Flash game. Me, I would personally like to bring back Star Wars. If I remember correctly, it was 1414, because it was going to be about Boba Fett, and it looked like it was going to be something like Uncharted rating, kind of Uncharted-like third-person cover-based shooter. And I even heard it was going to be M-rated, so that would have been really impressive to have the first M-rated Star Wars game, which, you know, I think we should have by now. What about you?
No, nothing come to mind.
I'm sorry. Okay. Next question is, since Arkham Knight was a bit of a disappointment, which personally I don't understand myself, Rocksteady has had some serious hate, and people have been calling them out as the worst developer ever. Do you think this is fair? No, I don't think this is fair at all. I don't know what they're talking about. I mean, a lot of people have been complaining about Arkham Knight. I loved it. How do you feel about it?
I liked it a lot. I mean, considering I started playing, from the third one back, Arkham Knight was my first one I played. Now I'm playing the rest. It's the best one.
I mean, the strange thing is, like the biggest complaint I've been hearing from people is they say they don't like the Batmobile. I don't know what they're talking about. I love driving the Batmobile, and I like the fact that half of the game involves Batmobile. And I think that it's not fair, because if you really think about the Batmobile itself in terms of the entire franchise, you've only been driving it for half of one game, whilst you have 3 other games in which basically all you're doing is going to this place, Predator taking down people, beating people up, next area, do the same thing, next area, do the same thing, and we've done that for 3 whole games straight. So the fact that they added a completely new gameplay element, I really appreciate that. So, yeah, I don't understand where all this hate is coming from. The next 2 questions come from James S., and you want to know, what is your favorite Nintendo 64 game? Well, mine of all time has to be Mario 64, because that was the first Super Mario game I played on the 64, and I still think it's probably one of the greatest games we've ever played to this date. What about you?
I have 2, actually.
Huh?
Look it up. It's called Mystical Ninja Starting Goemon.
I don't remember that one.
Oh, it's because me and Aaron, we used to play this all the time. Have a blast.
Yeah.
And my second one is Star Fox 64.
Okay, Star Fox 64, I do remember that one. That might be like my number 3 one behind Star Wars Rogue Squadron. So those are our games there. And your next question is, if we could have every game for one system, what system would it be? PlayStation 3, hands down. It's still my favorite console to this date. And it's even to this day, it's probably my largest library that I have. I have like at least 80 games for it, so I wouldn't mind owning the rest of the library for it. What about you?
I would say PlayStation 1. Because with the PlayStation 1, I had more fun with any one of those games than with all my friends than the PS3 and the PS4 so far. Like, that was more of a get-together system for me.
Yeah, I can understand that. That's kind of one of the advantages that you have with old school gaming and not having it to be online, is that everyone, if you want to play with your friends, they have to come with you and not just play it online wherever they live.
Plus, you don't have to buy all the downloads and everything.
Yeah, no.
It's all already there. You just
before all that DLC crap. Alright, the next 3 questions come from Zyborg136, and I do believe this is actually your first 3 questions for this episode, so welcome to the channel. And you want to know, what underrated game deserves a sequel on both the Xbox and PlayStation? A game that needs a sequel. Personally, I would love to see a sequel to the game Black, which came out on the PlayStation 2. If I remember correctly, there were plans to do a sequel to that called 100 Bullets, but we haven't heard anything about it. I just love Black because it was just like the perfect Michael Bay shooter experience, where the objective literally was just to go around and blow up everything and shoot everything in sight, and just pure chaos, and I absolutely loved that game. What about you?
I think I play all the sequels. There's no game that was just one.
Okay. Next question is, what is your favorite Sly Cooper game if you've played them all, and what is your opinion on the franchise?
It's the first one.
Well, he kind of took the words right out of my mouth. We both agree that it is the first one that is the best. I guess I think I liked it the most because it was just definitely much more Sly focused. I mean, I didn't mind playing as alternate characters, but it just wasn't as fun playing as them as it was with Sly, and I think how we both feel that way.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's it. And how we feel on the franchise, I think it's a great franchise, and I can't wait to see the movie that they're doing for it. And I like that they're keeping it animated instead of them trying to do a live-action version, which I think would be a disaster.
Agreed.
So, yeah. Next question is, do you and your brother have a different game taste?
Yes.
I'm not sure it's game taste. It's more of like different franchises. We both like playing the same thing. Like we both are into RPGs. We both play shooters. We both like fighting games. I think different taste means we like different games in that genre. But we like that genre. Like I'm a Street Fighter, like you're a Street Fighter person. I'm a Mortal Kombat person, but we both like fighting games. You like Borderlands, I like Destiny, but they're kind of the same game. And in terms of Final Fantasies, you know, we both like a lot of them. I think the only one, I think we both agree that 13 is shit. So, yeah, I don't think it's necessarily taste. I think it's just different franchises within a genre. I think that's what we have different favorites for.
I think I'm maybe a little more open to trying different styles of games and gameplay.
I mean, I don't mind playing indie games. There's just a lot of games I don't like. Like, I don't like Skyrim or Witcher 3. I just don't want to try any of those games.
I'm willing to try those games.
He's a lot more open than that. The next two questions come from Henry Rashis, and you want to know, do you have your own Xbox, or not Xbox, Wii U? I'll answer this one myself. I used to have a Wii U, and I actually bought it only to get one game. And then I played a couple games on it, and then I kind of sold it. So I used to own a Wii, but I don't own it anymore. And your next question is, what is your favorite animated movie of all time? Ooh, this is a tough one. If I could throw in Pixar, this is actually a video that would be worthy of its own top 10s list video. I'm gonna go with the Toy Story trilogy, which unfortunately looks like they want to do a fourth one for no damn reason, because I honestly cannot pick which one of those three I like the most, because that is the only franchise that I can say I've actually enjoyed in all three periods of my life. I mean, I loved Toy Story 1 as a kid, I loved Toy Story 2 as a teenager, and I love Toy Story 3 as an adult. And I don't think there's been a franchise like that that's been able to stay consistently good to a state of perfection than Toy Story. So that's why I can't pick which one of those three I like the most. What about you?
The Lion King. Period.
What'd you think of the sequels?
Not as good as the original.
Of course not. I mean, what was that Lion King like 1.5 that followed Timon and Pumbaa while they were just? I thought it had a funny song about dig the tunnel, dig the tunnel. I thought that was funny, but that's the only thing I remember about it. Next three questions come from CRH Gaming. It's a regular of mine, so welcome back. And you want to know, do I like cupcakes?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you like Legos? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And what episode, you've probably said this before, but what is your favorite Star Wars? Okay, this is an easy one. Episode 3, hands down. Look, Episode 7 isn't even out yet. Episode 8 or 9 haven't come out, and not even the Rogue movies and anthology films are out yet, but I can tell you right now, from this point on, there is not going to be another Star Wars movie I see from this point on that I'm going to like as much as Episode 3. Episode 3 is the only one that I actually have been emotionally attached to, aside from the two crap ones, which is Episode 1 and 2, and the kind of old but outdated original films, which I'll acknowledge that they were good for their time, but if those movies had come out now, I really don't think they would have been as received as well as they did now as they did back then. So, Episode 3 is my favorite Star Wars. What about you?
Episode 3, sir.
Yeah, we both feel the same way. I mean, I guess that one, it just has everything we want in a Star Wars movie. And it's the only one that anything really, really bad actually happens. I mean, people like to say that, when franchises, they need to have a Empire Strikes Back part of the series, which I never understood, because nothing really bad happens in Empire Strikes Back. I mean, if we really think about it, the Battle of Hoth isn't really bad, because the rebels knew that the Empire was going to get them, and the whole approach of the rebels is that they move from base to base and planet to planet. So the first battle was supposed to play out that way. They knew they were going to be founded and they had to move. Han Solo getting captured and turned into carbonite isn't so bad, because we all know he's going to be taken to Jabba's palace. So it didn't make any sense for anyone to be sad, because you know where he's going. We can be there in 20 minutes anyway, and we can pick him up then. So why people were so sad about that, I have no idea. And Luke getting his hand cut off is really not a big deal, since Vader gets his hand cut off dozens of times in the franchise, and he doesn't complain at all. So, and like, he had his whole arm cut off, not just his hand. And the whole him screaming, "No, Darth Vader is my father," which I personally think is a little bit laughable, because I don't think anybody would really do that if you found out your father was a murderous Sith Lord. I think I would stop and think for a second, but I wouldn't scream no, so I just find that hilarious. So so episode 3 is both our favorite episodes of Star Wars. Sorry I went on a little bit of a small little rant.
I forgave you. And
the last few questions come from Corey Roloff, and you want to know, what do you dislike about your brother? Okay, this is what I dislike. I don't like that he's taller than me. I'm 5'9", he's like 6'1", and I just wish I was at least 6 feet tall. I think that would make me have a little bit more self-confidence. What I like about him is his bubbly personality. He's not as gloomy as I am most days, and when there's a party going, he's always the life of it. And trust me, we actually got to celebrate his birthday here, and he definitely was the life of the party. Up until Angie was kind of kidnapping. No, not Angie. Gabby was kidnapping.
Abby.
So they both start with A's, and they both kind of sound like it. Angie and Abby. They kind of have that "and" start to it, so it's easy to get confused sometimes.
I understand.
Yeah, but Abby was a little bit. I feel sorry for the poor.
She's just a little
bossy. I think I even feel sorry for any guy that wants to try and date her when she's older.
They gotta worry about me and Frank.
Oh. Yeah, but if they get past you, I think that she'll be fine on her own. Okay, and now it's your turn.
Oh, that's right. Sometimes gloomy personality is what I don't like. But, I mean, I love the guy, so I'm used to it.
Yeah. Okay, and the last question is, what game do you both like to play together and why? Oh, well, we were playing this the whole time I was here. We were both playing Mortal Kombat, and we both, apparently he likes playing the whole test your luck mode, which I thought was hilarious because
Best mode ever.
It's so chaotic and it's so unfair. I mean, sometimes you'll have the level
It's fair when you're playing against someone who's an expert.
Yeah, that's what it is. Because he knows if he takes me on as Scorpion, he knows he's going to lose every single time. So what he'll pick is...
Granted, that's my first time playing the game.
Well, I know, but even if we go back to older Mortal Kombat, you've never been able to beat me as Sub-Zero, who is your favorite character.
I'd say it's more...
what it does is
equal grounds.
Yeah, what Test Your Luck does is it kind of puts it on equal grounds because it's so unpredictable. You can't really bring your full expert skill set to it because it's so random. So there's many times which he had all the advantages and I had all the disadvantages, and I couldn't really approach something because I couldn't really get combos going. So it ended up being nothing but a bunch of button mashes, and he'll win most of the time. And
you have to overcome and survive.
And personally, I think it's just a little. I find that kind of funny. With all the craziness, I mean, like when it starts speeding up and everything sounds all really sounds like chipmunks, and things are happening so fast we can't even keep track of what's going on the screen. It's like all of a sudden one of us loses. Like, what the heck happened? I think the worst one is like when
juggle one.
The juggle one was messed up because I couldn't even press it because there was this setting where I had like space, and so every time he hit me, I would like slowly rise and slowly fall, but he would hit me before I hit the ground, so I couldn't even counter. And I was just like, that is so crazy. And I think the worst one was there were all these hazards. There was like missiles, there was rockets, there was ice things, there was like fire things coming everywhere, and I literally could not move my control. Like I tried to move, but it was just the hazards were hitting me left and right, and so I was like, I literally had to hold my control like this because I couldn't move. And that was crazy. But yeah, we both like playing Mortal Kombat Test Your Luck. That was definitely a lot of fun to do. Wish they had this since the beginning. And with that, this episode did run on a little bit long, but that's good because the episode is over. So I'd like to thank Antoine, my brother, here for joining me for this episode. Who knows when he'll be back, maybe even next year. And if you guys have any questions for me for next week's episode, be sure to type them in the comments down below. I will be back in Vegas to answer them. And if you like this video, feel free to like, comment down below, and please subscribe to check me out future episodes of People's Questions, episode 184. And don't forget to wish him a late happy birthday because it was definitely quite a lot of fun, and he got me drinking a lot more than I usually would on my own. So again, thank you guys for watching, and thanks for joining me on this episode, and we will see you next time.